Although rare, publisher reserves the absolute right to delay publication until author remediates text elements considered to be unduly harmful to readers on the basis of hate, abuse, libel, gender, sexuality, race, ethnicity, religion, disability, pornography, or incitement to violence. Publisher also reserves the absolute right to delay publication if the book is not written in English clear enough to be understood with ease by a native English speaker. If no agreement can be reached on the remediation of elements in question, author and publisher mutually agree to terminate the contract, with author receiving a refund of 20% of any funds already paid. Okay, so this is sort of an interesting clause, and let me explain a couple things. One, we've never actually used this clause. We've never stopped a book from being published because it had hate speech in it or because it was too problematically written. The thing is, there's a 99.99999% chance that this is not going to be relevant for your book. But there is also an absolute situation in which you should be glad that this is in the Atmosphere Press standard contract, because it ensures that if we ever ended up with an author where they had slipped in some hate speech late in the process of editorial, or they had initially submitted a book that had gone through remediation with somebody who helped with the English, but then they ended up mangling a bunch of it and ended up wanting us to publish something that was basically unpublishable, you should be glad that this clause is in the contract, because it means that we have a way out of publishing that book, and it means that you don't have to worry about that Atmosphere brand being diluted or poisoned by us publishing a book that is not understandable or a book that has hate speech in it. So although, we've never actually had to use this, this is a clause that's valuable to have in there because it protects Atmosphere reputationally, and therefore it protects you reputationally. So I can say that it's important to have in because of those things, and that it doesn't in any way preclude us from publishing your book if your book, for example, has violence in it, or if you are a non-native speaker. If you're a non-native speaker, oftentimes non-native English is absolutely gorgeous. Vladimir Nabokov, one of the greatest writers in the history of the English language, was a non-native speaker, and people say that that's why his books were so great. So we understand that. And if your book has violence in it, if your book has some sexual content, that's not a problem. Really, what we're keeping an eye out for is hateful stuff, genocidal, wishes, things that are trying to incite violence, things that are hateful. And it's good that we have this in there because it protects all of our authors from us being in some sort of situation in which we're bound to publish.